finally.
Look at that. What an unflavored beverage.
What is that? Champagne?
I'm here to celebrate, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Because this movie that we saw, Slender Man, Taylor and I completely agree, is the worst movie we've seen thus far on the Talkies.
And me, Golden Helmet all the way. I mean, just the most perfect film I've ever been a.
Now, jests aside, we do have a real argument to have here.
This is actually an argument, yeah.
And it's not that we are all agree that this movie was horrible,
absolutely,
and atrocious, and we will dive deep into all the things that went wrong here.
Bad movie.
But the argument is it worse than Winchester? I say yes. I say it is.
And you
worse
say
than
yes?
Winchester.
I think so too. Yeah, because
it's hard for me, man.
For me, it's the effort, and I felt like there was a little bit more effort put into Winchester.
Ooh, see, I see the opposite actually.
Really?
Yeah, I think there was more effort put into Slender Man, but in the wrong way. See, in Winchester, they had a big production, and there was lots of things that they wanted to do and just didn't do them well or didn't do them right. In Slender Man, I felt like there was a very strong aesthetic. Like there were the cinematographer and the editor in here had like a very, very strong sense of presence, while everything else sucked. So
the reason I give Winchester points over Slender Man is because they went to greater lengths to develop characters.
Oh yeah.
So we had some inkling of a backstory for that drug addict doctor, for Lady Winchester, for the ghost even, the little creepy redhead kid. We had a sense of all of their backstories, whereas with the characters in Slender Man, the only piece of character development that I could really pick up on was that one of the girls is in track and is good at it, and apparently cares about winning races. And that's it.
I didn't even get that. I didn't even know there was someone in track.
They tried to keep pushing that like it was an important part. Like they're going to have some stupid like running scene where she's going to like outrun Slender Man. I don't know. But yeah, I just, not that I really developed any meaningful empathy with the characters in Winchester, but there wasn't even a chance to in Slender Man.
No, yeah, I would totally agree because there was zero story in Slender Man.
Yeah, I felt like if we're talking about Winchester, I felt like Winchester had a little bit more lore baked into the film.
Yeah,
and Slender Man did nothing with it, even though it had a huge wealth of lore to pull from.
Huge missed opportunity.
Absolutely.
The thing that's in common with both of those films is I was left with just a sense of sadness afterwards because they missed a really cool opportunity. The source material, the story behind the Winchester Mystery House, and the phenomenon that was the Slender Man mythology should make for a good time at the movies. It really should.
It should.
But what they did was they made what's that movie called? The Ring. It was just The Ring.
It was just The Ring?
Yeah.
I never saw The Ring.
The Ring, the concept of The Ring is you watch a
video
and you die in 7 days.
Yeah,
that's pretty much exactly what Slender Man was.
Why was it a video that's...
Yeah, and was it a video that Slender Man made himself?
That's what I was wondering.
Like with a phone?
Yeah.
With the phone?
What the heck?
Yeah.
Like he was doing with the...
Yeah, he has like an office. Yeah. Kind of like our place here.
That's why he's in a suit.
He makes all his media. No, it's like... I felt like the makers of this film didn't know anything about Slender Man. Like, I felt like they began reading the Wikipedia article on Slender Man and didn't finish. They like got through one paragraph and were like, "It'd be a cool monster."
Right, he's a tall guy. He's got no face, and he can turn into stuff sometimes. So, all right, we're good.
He got no face.
He's got no face.
He got no face.
So they just turned him into just a typical horror movie monster.
Yeah.
Right? Where apparently his motivation was he wanted to kill you, strangle you, push you out a window, or something like that.
What?
But that's not Slender Man.
That's not Slender Man.
Right?
Yeah,
Slender
that
Man. What's cool about the whole Slender Man thing is that all this fan art and Photoshop contest stuff that's out there floating around, because it's all diversely done, it almost gives it a sense of it being more real.
Yeah.
Right? Because if a real phenomenon exists, you're going to see it documented from many different perspectives instead of just one unified look.
Yeah.
So that in itself made it feel a little more real. And then, but they all kind of agreed to the rules, right? And the rules is that Slender Man seduces. He's the Pied Piper, which they make reference to in the movie, but they didn't actually do it, right? The creepiest images of Slender Man are the ones where he's holding a little girl's hand and she's walking away with him willingly.
Right.
You know?
like she's not like afraid or anything.
Yeah.
Right.
That's really creepy stuff.
Yeah.
But that's not in this movie at all.
Yeah, Slender Man is just there to
He
terrorize
just
you.
attacks. Just attack.
He just attacks.
Yeah, and he like that one moment where like he grows a bunch of arms and legs and he's really
Starts
tall and
walking
he's
with
like
them.
running. Yeah, and he's like chasing them. I was like, what the hell is this?
There's
This is
so
dumb.
much wrong with this.
That was-
and
yeah.
that was hilarious because that was the part of the movie where the girl said, "Oh, spoilers," if this matters. And the girl goes over to Slender Man and says, "Take me," and then
Yeah.
he
And
then
goes
runs
and then runs away.
Yeah, take me and then runs.
Yeah. Should I change my mind?
I changed my mind. Sorry.
This is actually spooky.
I kept giving the movie too much credit because then when she started to run, my mind went, "Oh, it's a trap. She's bait."
Right.
So she said, "Take me," and then she ran, but that wasn't it at all.
There were so many points like that in the movie for me.
Yeah, you're like, "Oh,
I
there's
was like, oh, this is genius.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's funny. There's a scene where one of the grieving father, the father of the first girl who disappeared, shows up at the other girl's house looking for his daughter, and he's drunk and he's bereaved and kind of losing his mind.
That was crazy.
That was scarier than any scene with Slender Man.
Right.
A human being who is like just crazed with grief was far more frightening
Right.
than Slender Man at his worst in this movie.
Yeah.
Which goes to show what they've missed here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? As like human elements for people to connect into.
Yeah.
Honestly, having a villain or hero without a face is already putting you in a position of a big uphill battle, I think. I mean, you can only have that be creepy for so long without having some other kind of development of this character.
Yeah.
Because the fact is, without a face, it becomes just a machine.
Well, and that can work if you leave it in the background, you know? Like, there were way too many close-ups of Slender Man.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. And not only were there too many close-ups and clear shots of him, like towards the end or even in the middle.
Yeah.
But when they tried to do that subtle in the background thing, that didn't even work
Yeah,
either.
you still saw them,
Well,
saw them plainly
and it was
there.
like overdone.
Yeah,
You
it was overdone.
I felt like they had several good ideas here
Yeah.
that were good the first time, and that they had come up with enough original concepts to make a good, scary 20-minute fan film.
Yeah.
Was what was here.
Well,
that was
but
what
yeah.
was on the screen.
And or at least maybe an interesting one. You
Yeah.
know? I mean, not good, but
The first time they used the gimmick, the girl gets a video call, and she answers it, and she sees on the screen the person calling her is outside her
Yeah.
house looking at her.
that was neat.
And then that video call perspective
Oh, yeah.
travels into the house and up the stairs like
On a steady cam.
Yeah.
yes. Well, he's probably floating, right? Because
I suppose.
he's
I liked how it goes through
he's a
the doors. and stuff.
bioelectrical being.
You know what I liked is when he goes through the doors, the camera, and then the girl closes the door or locks the door. Like, oh yeah.
My point is that was a pretty interesting idea and
Yeah.
was kind of scary.
Yeah.
But they did it again. Like later in the movie, they pulled the exact same gimmick where they get a video call and it's coming into their house. And why am I supposed to be scared the second time?
Right.
Now I'm actually, you're putting me back into a comfort zone.
Right.
Instead of
I'm
pushing me
familiar with
further
this.
out
Yeah,
of it.
you're familiar with
you know?
it, right?
So now the mythology of Slender Man is a man who attacks, steals, and kills women by luring them with a weird video call to a point of vulnerability so he can grab them.
Yeah, because
that's all Slender Man is.
If you watch the video, then he'll come get you, and
then you see video calls you.
Yeah,
and he tries to get you to stand close to a door or a window. He could snatch you. That's what he does. That's Slender Man.
Unless you offer up something like you can offer up something you care about, like a photo or your little sister.
That makes sense.
Or your friend's little sister.
There was
This girl means nothing to me.
The aesthetics in this film I loved so much more than Winchester. Right, Winchester had this very just desaturated, drab.
Yeah,
this is a scary movie, so therefore everything's dark.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. The Winchester look was thoroughly uninteresting.
Yeah.
However,
and this one was really cool looking.
It was cool looking, but I also found it a little distracting by how derivative it was.
Of what?
It felt like we were watching a mishmash of 10 Cloverfield Lane and Blair Witch in terms of aesthetic.
Well, I'm talking about like visually, because like there was a lot of blue color correction. Mine made a lot of Ozark. Netflix show.
Personally, I thought it was I don't know, like it was kind of like the opening shots where they're like on the bleachers. I thought was really cool.
They were pretty.
Yeah, I was like, this is neat.
But oh gosh, I wish I didn't have to hear them talk.
yeah.
That was like, seriously, the movie was over for me from that scene. That dialogue was so bad.
It was very poorly written. Yeah.
The aesthetics just didn't. They felt like I didn't feel like there was any effort put into them.
Into the aesthetic?
Yeah.
Oh, I felt the opposite. I felt like there was a lot of effort put into it.
Yeah.
Well, because there were things in there that they use that they don't use in other movies, like digital zooms. They've done digital zooms in what was that movie? Prisoners. They did it in Prisoners once, and they even actually did the same shot in here in Slender Man, where you have a close-up of a tree, and it's just the trees in focus and everything else is out of focus, and we're slowly what looks like dollying towards it, but there's no parallax, so it's a digital zoom.
They did that a lot in this movie.
And I really liked that.
The library, they did it too.
Yeah, I really liked the digital zoom because that's something that you don't typically see in movies because it doesn't serve any purpose. Although for this one, it did it every time Slender Man was about to come.
That's what I mean. I think, again, it was a good idea and then overdone.
Well, yeah, sure, but I think we only see it as overdone because there was no story to complement it. So I feel like there was a good aesthetic of cinematography and editing that was cool in its own right, but just did not mix at all with the direction whatsoever. So we have that cheesy ass dialogue with really, really long shots, which makes zero sense. But
you're saying it was like a miscommunication. In a way, almost as if the director was not on the same page as the DP or the editor.
Yeah, because the way it was shot was a lot like Ozark, where you have really, really telephoto shots, right? You have things way out of the background, right? Way thrown out of the background, really close up on the characters' faces, and you don't need that when you're doing, when you're building up, like the opening shot that you were talking about on the bleachers when they're talking to each other, when they're just like playing around. You don't need this close-up right here.
No, it almost gave it a weird sort of ethereal feel, like it was meant to be a flashback or something like that.
And then they had
very soft edges.
They had center-weighted, what do you call it? Center-weighted dollies and center-weighted wides, where they have, like Kubrick does this a lot, where you have a center thing and the frame is mostly empty except for your subject. And it's really creepy. Like, it's really cool looking because you don't see a lot of other things that are happening around the frame. And like when the girl is looking toward the forest at one point, they used that shot in the trailer a lot. But like that was a really, really cool shot. It just didn't make any sense.
I think maybe that's why I didn't like it, is because it wasn't all gelling into one vision.
Yeah. It felt like this was a divided film.
No, that's definitely what it felt like.
Yeah, and that's probably what threw me off. Maybe I'm supplementing that as not liking
It's not
the
like
aesthetics.
It's almost like different writers and directors took on different parts of the movie.
Yeah.
I can definitely see that.
The sequence where she goes into like some kind of dream within a trance.
Oh my gosh,
kind of
dude, I couldn't handle that.
It was so. I like if she woke up one more time,
I was gonna walk out.
Walk out. I couldn't believe it that they went so far. I just hit a camera.
Well, that's crazy.
That was creepy.
See, that was scarier than Slender Man.
Handheld.
But that whole sequence was so out of step with the rest of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like someone was stepped in and was like, I want to do a Stanley Kubrick kind of like tribute kind of film.
They're just like, hey, wouldn't it be creepy if, and it was that for the entire film.
Yeah, and it was all just like random crazy ideas for, this would be weird, and this would be weird, and this would be weird. None of them necessarily moved the story whatsoever. It was just, what's the next weird thing we could do? Yeah. And I'd say 2/3 of the trailer came from that 1 minute of the movie.
It did.
All the weird, crazy crap from her vision became the trailer, which made the movie look like, this is going to be a mind trip of a movie.
You know what was funny too? When trailers usually end with like a, don't you want to see it now? Right? Kind of shot. Like in Mission Impossible, it was him hanging off the helicopter or about to crash into the truck. This one, it ended with the ending shot of Slender Man, which was the sister going crazy at the end. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Where she's screaming in the bed. It's like you would have thought in the trailer, you're thinking, oh, why is she going crazy? And you still don't know when you see the movie.
They seemed desperate. This whole movie, like, it's just desperate. Especially the writing is, like, completely desperate for scares.
The writing was so bad.
The dream sequence, dream within a dream thing, it was like we're so desperate to scare you that we're gonna have this dream, gonna have this, then she'll wake up and then you'll think it's real life, and then that'll make, since you think it's real life, then you'll really think it's scary, but it won't matter because it's in a dream again.
You know what they did, I'm sure, is when they actually had the movie on edit, right, when they're looking at it and everything, they probably didn't think to themselves, this isn't, like, they're probably thinking this isn't creepy enough, we need to up the creepiness, right? So they had to add a bunch of things because a lot of that shit was just digital stuff, like the face demon morph that they just did insane.
Or the tentacles ripping out of her stomach.
That was cool. I like that.
Oh yeah, cool as in like, hey, look at this cool effects shot I made.
Had absolutely
cool as in a part of that movie.
Nothing to do. No. There was a part that you laughed just out loud completely, and you were the only person in the theater laughing. It was so funny.
I like bothered people in the audience. It was the boyfriend bit.
Yeah, the boyfriend when his head turns into that like
demon face.
Where he's like, and like everyone else is like, and Kenny's just going.
It was so ridiculous. I was like, oh my gosh, are you serious?
I was sleeping through a lot of this, and I slept through that part. That's actually right when I woke up. Like, I woke up after, like, that whole thing. So I didn't know that happened.
You absolutely didn't miss anything.
Yeah, they start making out on the couch, and then all of a sudden, he sits up and has a demon face and starts shaking his head and going,
I woke up after that,
and she screams, and then he goes, what? What's wrong? You just started screaming. Nothing happened.
When that happened, I wanted to say, I had a cold. It's a confirmed joke.
Oh, okay. I was doing this like
cold.
I get it.
I didn't get it. I'm on that show.
Sorry, audience. Well, they're making inside jokes.
There was a part where, like this is the only time we've ever made an inside joke.
Wheelhouse.
What was I gonna say?
Dialogue.
Ugh. I wasn't going to say that, but dialogue was terrible. Oh, you know what? Okay, so we were talking about the most developed character in the movie was the little sister.
That's the little sister.
Oh, yeah, huh?
And she had maybe 5 lines in the whole movie.
Yeah. So, like, what you understood about her was that she was tired of being left out by the older kids, and that's why she went along with the other friend and got all messed up, which is more than we got about virtually any other character in this movie.
And that's pretty understandable too, of a concept, like a human concept.
Yeah, like a human perspective.
Yeah, of having like, a point of view. Seeing your older sister always hanging out with her friends and wanting to be a part of that, but just being like maybe slightly too young.
See, so that worked. And then the bereaved father bit worked.
Yeah.
Because we're tapping into relatable human emotions.
Humanity.
You see, this stuff matters for making a good... And that's why Hereditary was so freaking great.
Yeah. Because it was based on a family problem.
They found a way to tie you into every character. I mean, you empathize with some level with every member of that family. Even the totally weird girl, daughter, you still, like... From a certain point of view, like you're like, I've actually been in that spot.
Right, like you felt sorry for her.
Yeah.
That you never hear feel sorry for Slender Man or any of the girls or anything like that.
Yeah.
No. It was about halfway through the movie, it was obvious to me that this was a movie where all the characters die.
Right.
And I felt like they kind of showed their cards, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to root for anyone. This is obviously one where they're all going to die.
It would have helped if freaking we had any connection whatsoever with the main character, who seemed annoying to the point of just, I don't want her on the screen anymore.
Yeah, I did not care when she got swallowed by that tree.
Yeah. Which
did not care.
How much sense does that make in the Slender Man universe?
It really could have. That's what's just so sad is the could haves and should haves of this. It would have been really neat to push this whole phenomenon forward.
Yeah.
And the biggest risk that I thought would have been just staying flat, but what they actually did was step back.
Yeah. They did.
They cheapened the whole Slender Man mythology.
There's always a point in monster movies that I think is really funny where they have the monster shows its true strength or something, and that's usually when we have the camera come in and actually see the details on the monster. And for some reason, I don't understand why, but I guess either writers or filmmakers, one of them, wants to get in close and be like, okay, now check out the monster. Isn't this really scary? And you're like, no, it was scarier when we didn't see it. Right. This happened in The Ritual, which is a Netflix, or it's on Netflix. I don't know if it's a Netflix original, but the whole thing was a monster movie, and it was actually tied into humanity. So it was really, really cool up until the point where we saw the monster. And it's like, okay, now I know what's going on. Blech.
Yeah.
And Slender Man, I mean, not only did we see him plenty of times, but now at the very end, he grows into like a spider. And you're just like, I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. Who
Honestly,
cares?
I've always thought Slender Man imagery was less scary when his tentacles were out.
I always thought it was really cheesy when his tentacles are out.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And I like the art that I've seen where those are pictured as like shadow, and not actually real tentacles.
The movie poster reminds me of the Blockbuster horror film covers. Mm-hmm. Do you remember those? Like, you go on the Blockbuster, you see the horror section, and they're all just like disturbing imagery, but the movies are shit. Have you seen these?
Sure.
I know you don't.
What's
you don't know what Blockbuster is.
What is that?
Is that like a red box?
Is that Netflix?
So the Slender Man movie poster was really cool in my eyes because I was like, wow, that's really neat to show, to just kind of symbolize that he's more than a man, right? That was really cool. However, the Slender Man doesn't look like that at all in the movie. And two, the window that they're using with condensation has nothing to do with anything whatsoever in the entire film.
Again, it was disjointed from the vision. It wasn't a unified vision for any of this.
None of it.
Back to the monster thing. The other big thing that most successful monster stories do is show the monster's weakness.
Yeah.
And there was none in this film.
No.
Like, he's just unstoppable.
He was basically
and because he was summoned, they're all dead, no matter what.
Right.
You know?
Also, I wasn't even sure exactly why I should be afraid of Slender Man. Other than, of course, like, you watch the video, he's going to kidnap you. But that's, like, it. Like, that's not that scary to me.
Yeah, there was no why attached to it.
Exactly. Yeah, there's no reason for it. There's no motive.
Yeah.
Maybe he has no motive because he's a bioelectric being. He just sprung into existence.
There was, whoa. This was I hated this so much in the film. Not just the bioelectric thing. It's the idea that Slender Man in here didn't have any actual history, didn't have any actual discourse and everything. Like when we were talking about how they went into the history of Slender Man, but that one girl was studying like the Pied Piper and all that stuff. They made the effort to make her study that, and then never actually met.
Discover anything.
She didn't. Yeah, they didn't meet anything. The thing is, like, as soon as you see Slender Man in the movie, you go crazy, and he gets in your mind like a virus.
Like a brain virus.
Like a viral video because internet.
Ah, yeah, right. Uh-huh.
So
spreads.
Yeah, memes.
So he's in your head, and so that means that you see him, and he's not actually there, but you actually see him, right? And so you're freaking out. So that's the thing that happens. But you can actually also see him, because he actually does exist. And I didn't get those two things.
Yeah. This movie sucked.
It's
like you're right.
You're right. Yeah, that doesn't matter.
You're totally right.
Yeah. Facts.
I have one more thing to say about dialogue.
Do it.
It slightly reminded me of like Spring Breakers.
I haven't seen that movie.
Harmony Korine dialogue.
Don't spoil that movie, because I still want to see that movie.
I won't spoil it. Where it's just a bunch of teenage girls talking to each other. I can't go into detail.
Kenny made a great observation on the way out. He said, the guy who wrote that dialogue, just think about that. The guy who wrote that dialogue.
The guy who wrote that dialogue.
Writing teenage
Somewhere
dialogue.
There's a guy who wrote this dialogue. And that was obvious. What do girls talk about when guys aren't around? I know. They totally talk about dicks. Let's write some stuff about that. I'm just like, gosh. It was so bad.
It was cringeworthy.
It was terrible. Like, that was actually maybe one of the worst parts of the movie, was the dialogue was absolutely horrid.
Yeah, that opening scene, they really just could have done without.
That through the hallway high school where they're talking with the boys. Yeah. They're like, what are you boys doing? They're like, oh, it's a secret. They're gonna summon Slender Man.
Stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Could you even imagine that happening at a high school?
It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
I could see it happening in elementary school.
That's right. Yeah, you could. In an elementary school,
that would have been way better if all of them were way younger. This would have been instantly better.
Actually, that is an interesting idea. That is.
Well, doesn't Slender Man supposed to be most interested in children?
Yeah.
That's the thing, right?
Not teenagers.
Almost like this should almost have been more like It.
Right.
Where it's younger kids.
Yeah. They probably just found out that it's too hard to direct.
They found out that the expense of working with minors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we're barely putting effort into the teenagers.
Yeah, they probably wrote an original script that was all for like 7 to 10-year-olds.
That would have been seriously. That would have made this instantly.
And the producer's
better.
like, so could we make these guys like 18? Can we do that?
Well, you see, that changes everything.
We can cut the budget in half, though. It's a good script, but they should be adults.
I'm wondering, I wonder how much different everything would have been.
Sony produced this, right?
Ooh, yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
But what was like the production company behind it? Like, Sony funded it.
A24.
It was an A24 film. Oh God.
Yeah.
Focus features.
It wasn't Blumhouse.
No, it wasn't. No. It felt like it should have been.
Yeah, and it would have been better.
I wish it was.
Would have been better. Yeah.
They probably Blumhouse would have made it one better, and they would have made it better, two better for cheaper. I'm sure.
I bet they would have.
Yeah.
I don't know how much it costs for this movie to make, but
after the first scene,
oh God,
what I felt was that someone was going. I was expecting a voice to come in and say, "See that and more this Wednesday on the WB."
Screen Gems was the production company, and their budget on Wikipedia. So I don't know if this is true, but it says 10 to 28 million.
That's a pretty large discrepancy. 10 to 28 million.
Yeah,
it's also too much considering Split was made for 10 million.
Yeah.
It says the box office so far is 11.3 million.
Oh. So they may not have made. They still haven't made profit.
Jeez,
I can't believe it's directed by Sylvain White, who did Stomp the Yard.
I don't know that.
It's a dance movie.
He also did Rush Hour, but not the movie, the CBS series.
What?
Rush Hour, the TV show.
Yeah.
Spin-off.
Was it actually part of that like universe?
They had another Asian guy and another black guy play the same characters.
Lower budget Asian and black guy.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
What the hell?
He also did 2 other CBS shows that were based off of movies.
Huh. Well, Blumhouse would have made it for $3 million, and they would have made $100 million off of it.
Absolutely.
Hey, I'm thinking Slender Man can't be wrapped up by too much IP law.
I'm not even sure how that works.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I know that there is one person who is given credit for creating the character.
Yeah.
But
I think the mythos has just been collectively created.
Yeah, so like I wonder, could just anyone make a Slender Man movie?
I don't know.
Well, see, this is what I want to know about SCP, which I really can't believe you don't know about it. But it's another internet culture phenomenon of monsters.
Uh-huh.
And it's one of these things that people have been talking about. Movies should be made from it for a long time now. There've been lots of video games from it, but the thing about it is that it's culturally created, like Wikipedia, where it's just or collectively created, where just a bunch of people do stuff. So I don't know how something like that could even be done.
You could make the movie and make a bunch of money, and then you'd be sued in a class action lawsuit.
Yeah,
that's what would happen. The people versus Blumhouse.
Who would get cut? Just everyone who
shows up.
Everyone who shows up who says they had a part of it.
You get 5 cents for the settlement.
Yeah. Yes.
Is that what I kind of imagine? You said there's like one guy who is credited.
Yes, it was the first credit at the end of the movie.
Yeah. So
based on a character created by.
Yeah. So that guy probably gets something out of it.
Yeah.
And it'd probably be the same for what's that? CS Go?
SCP.
SCP. SCP. Where you'd probably have to find who the author of the specific story was.
Right.
But if it's like, is it anonymous?
I don't know.
We should just make a Slender Man short that's better than this movie.
I've seen a Slender Man short that's better than this movie.
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah.
I've only seen 1 or 2 episodes of Marble Hornets. And
Marble Hornets is...
And Beware the Slender Man. I've only seen the first 2 minutes.
I watched
the documentary?
Ton.
Yeah.
I used to watch tons of Marble Hornets.
Yeah.
Like way back.
Are they really good?
They were really good up to a point. Like it kind of like jumped the shark kind of at a point.
Don't jump sharks, man.
I watched a collection.
Don't do it.
I watched a collection of scariest parts in Marble Hornets, and they seemed to get progressively cheesier because they kept giving Slender Man more screen time.
Yeah. I mean, like, and I haven't watched it since I was like younger.
Does he have dialogue yet?
He goes, "I'm gonna get you."
What was freaky about Marble Hornets is they built up these characters, and you wouldn't see or even hear or allude towards Slender Man himself for like large strings of episodes where they would take time just kind of developing
just the
characters
right.
slowly, and then when he did kind of show up. You wouldn't see him all the way, and it'd actually be pretty terrifying.
Right.
So the HBO documentary Beware the Slender Man focuses more on the attempted murder that these two girls did to their friend.
Yeah.
And that movie is actually scary in many ways. And the scariest parts are hearing the actual recorded dialogue of police recording, depositions, of hearing these girls talking to each other about Slender Man in a way where they clearly have completely bought into that he is real and commanding them to do things.
Yeah. That's pretty crazy.
Was disturbing, And it's
that's real though, right?
And that's real.
Yeah.
And it's like, why could you not tap in?
Right.
It's like they didn't even try to tap into that, which is the truly horrifying part of Slender Man. And maybe that's why. Maybe it's because the actual Slender Man mythology got hijacked and people got hurt.
Well, so I think because there's a few comments that I've seen on their trailer Facebook things, where people would say, "How dare they make a movie based on this murder or almost murder that happened?" And I'm like, you guys know there's a character, but obviously there's so much weight in that idea of these girls that I think if they did a little bit more realistic, people would get angry.
As tragic and frightening as it is that happened, that is the thing that makes the Slender Man more real than any other monster we've created.
Right.
Right?
Right, that's true.
Like, in a sense, he has become a real monster. And he's had a victim, That's kind of crazy.
That is, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame that they didn't do something worthwhile with the whole thing, the whole idea.
Boo. Boo. Kill.
There's another inside joke.
Are we about done here?
It's not that I don't have more I could say. Yeah. It's that I just want to be done with Slender Man. This was so bad.
Yep.
Yeah.
Have we convinced you it's worse than Winchester? Your feet planted.
No, I'm planted.
You're firmly in the Winchester's the worst movie we've covered camp.
Well, I disagree.
I side with Taylor.
All right.
2 against 1.
It's not, because we all agree that it's a bad movie.
2 against 1.
D thinks it's good. D liked Slender Man.
I don't. I guess, like I said, I keep comparing this to Ozark, probably because it's visually similar, but like Ozark, I could say that the aesthetics of Ozark are awesome. And I love everything aesthetically about Ozark. The story makes it's just shit. I think it's pretty terrible. But I can rep the visual aesthetic. Slender Man had good visual aesthetics.
Listen to him defend it.
Fanboy.
I'm just saying, like, the writer needs to be
Slender Man fanboy.
I do like Slender Man a lot too. I was really hoping that this movie would be good.
We all did. Yeah. And it didn't seem a coincidence that it was scheduled to come out this year on the very same weekend that it came out last year.
Yeah.
Right.
Almost as if they were hoping to have that same kind of sleeper sensation that it was, but no such luck.
Not at all. So generic.
Yeah.
That was the first time we used MoviePass.
For it?
Yeah, me and you went and saw it.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Has it been a year?
Yeah. We laughed a lot in that movie, too.
Yeah.
Good
that was
time.
a pretty good movie, though.
It's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll watch the sequel. It Part 2.
Was it like this internet fad?
It was more of sort of, but a printed medium.
Printed?
Yeah.
What is printed?
Different kind of media. There's digital, there's print.
Paper media.
Digital, print,
this
video.
is like from paper, from the
This
paper
is another inside joke.
So.
Who's got pizzas?
Oh, gosh.
Oh, no.
I thought we were done.
I got pizzas.
Fine,
yeah, give me
go on.
pizzas.
Okay, so this is...
Wait.
Yeah.
Did you know that we have another Talkies show?
Another one?
Yeah, like a Talkies separate from this Talkies.
A whole other segment that's based on like a different concept?
Taylor's on it. Like, why wouldn't you know that?
Oh, that's true. Oh, yeah, I don't need to tell you. Never mind. Go ahead.
Right, since I know that. Since I know that I'm on...
Maybe we should address the audience.
I know that I'm on the Talkie Short Film Roundup, typically review user-submitted short films in depth.
You know, of those user-submitted short films, it's cool because we have like a screen that we go to.
Yeah. It's a new technology.
Remember this? You remember this?
When was that?
Gosh, your dialogue's as bad as Slender Man.
That was the joke.
What we're trying to get out is that short film roundup, we do it every week. You guys, the filmmaking public, can submit your short films to us, and we can give them the same brutal treatment you just heard us give to Slender Man. Luckily, almost every short film we've been sent was better than Slender Man.
Genuinely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So check it out. It's on every Thursday. We put up a new episode, and you can go to r/Carmenline Studios on Reddit to submit your film and also to preview the films we're going to be covering the following week.
Yeah, exactly.
Give me pizza.
So you move into a new house, and
This is the kind of pizza, yo.
You move into a new house, and you finally get your furniture in, and it's all good to go. And to celebrate, you order a pizza. You order a large pepperoni pizza, and it's delivery from like not even like a chain restaurant, but like a local delivery pizza place. And you get this pepperoni pizza, large pepperoni pizza, and it's really good. And you're eating it. You eat like half of it, and it's awesome. And then you close the box and you leave the rest. And somehow, one way or another, in the move, the pizza kind of gets, the box and the pizza inside gets slid underneath the couch. 7 years later, you're moving again into a new house, and you go and you're moving out your TV, you're moving out your table, and you get your couch and you move out the couch, and underneath is this box of pizza that you've had sitting underneath your couch for 7 years. And you open it up, and it's just absolutely horrid. Mold everywhere, whole colonies. They're like evolving like language. It's so evolved.
This sounds more interesting than Slender, honestly.
Yeah, I wish your pizza was a movie.
This isn't boring at all. This is great.
That moldy old 7-year-old pizza is Slender Man 2018.
You have to eat it.
Yeah.
If you were just documenting it, it'd be interesting. But if you have to eat that, it's not good.
Something 7 years out of its prime.
I think you would smell it.
Maybe.
You might smell it.
Maybe. It's a plot hole.
Might be rats in there, too.
Yeah.
Might be gone from the rats.
Yeah, the rats would eat it.
So you go.
So Slender Man is this kind of pizza. You're over at a restaurant with friends, and you don't typically eat pizza. You're like, I'm going to go have some pizza. A big group of friends, 20 friends, all at a table. You all get some pizza, and you're all eating it, and everyone's like having a good time. And there's one guy at the pizza table who's just laughing his ass off. Just looking at pizza, and you're like, everyone's like, what the hell's up with this guy? That guy is eating Slender Man. That's
Whoa, what the?
That was Kenny. Everyone else is like, this is good pizza, and he's just laughing. It's like, you guys don't know what pizza is.
So I guess I'll just make it simple. So you
watch a video.
You went pretty extreme. So here's exactly how I feel about Slender Man in pizza language. If I was asked by a friend, come to this new pizza place in town. It's like a New York influence sort of transplant, and it's supposed to be great. I'm like, awesome. And we go there and we order pizza, and I get a slice and I bite it, and I turn to my friend and say, "This is the worst pizza I've ever had in my life." That's the story.
That's pretty creative.
That's
man.
it.
That's
I can respect that.
Yeah. Wow. That's blew my mind.
Yeah, it was bad. Well,
but the aesthetics of the pizza was pretty cool.
The pizza looked kind of cool from an abstract way. Like
garnish.
You don't normally want to eat a green pizza.
But it looked cool.
But it did look cool. All right. So, I'm guessing if you watched this, you saw Slender Man 2, and I'm sorry. I'm very sorry.
No, I'm guessing most people didn't watch it who are watching this.
Then don't.
Then you're very
don't.
lucky.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
This 45-minute video is way more
better
entertaining
than Slender Man. Yeah.
Way more entertaining than Slender Man. And we'll be back next time to cover another awesome movie. Like,
what are we seeing?
Like The Meg.
The Meg.
We're going to watch The Meg.
We're going to watch The Meg. And until then, I'm Kenny.
I'm D.
I'm Taylor.
And we'll see you at the talkies, unless Slender gets you first.
Who knows? No.
This movie sucked. This movie really sucked.
No.
This movie sucked.
It was good.
This movie really sucked.
Sucked.
This movie sucked. This movie sucked. This movie sucked.
Sucked.
This movie sucked.
Sucked.